President Biden embarking on his big midterm blitz to November. The commander-in-chief out in Ohio today giving a speech after revving up the base last night at the DNC. And that's where he doubled down on his MAGA Republican attacks, but it seemed like he wants to have it both ways.
Not every Republican is a MAGA Republican. Not every Republican embraces the extreme ideology. I know because I've worked with them and the mainstream Republicans, and there's still a few of them left. But the extreme set of MAGA Republicans has chosen to go backwards, full of anger, violence, hate, and division. And that's what their game is. And together, Democrats, independents, and mainstream Republicans can choose a different path. Extreme MAGA Republicans just don't threaten our personal and economic rights. They embrace political violence. Democrats offer a vision for a better America. It's within the reach, our reach.
The president isn't the only source of GOP fear-mongering. A New York Times article joining the bandwagon claiming a narrow, hard-right GOP House majority could spell chaos. Sean, we must go to you to see about this. Where would you fall in the continuum of ultra MAGA to MAGA?
Well, I think there's no ultra MAGA. There's just MAGA, right? People want to make America great again. It's an American first policy as opposed to globalism. We want to put our people, our country first. And when Biden's talking about extreme ideology, you can't help but look at the Democrat Party today and say, listen, they're attacking the Second Amendment. They're attacking the First Amendment and freedom of speech. They have open borders. They're trying to transition kids, sterilize, kids under 18. They're advocates of partial birth abortion. They're promoting socialism. Those are the extreme sides of the Democrat Party. If you look at Republicans, they're again talking about the issues that they've talked about since the 1980s: lower taxes, less regulation, a secure border, a strong military. But to your question on this, I don't think this is going to work with the American people. You got to win the middle. And when you go so hard against Donald Trump and his supporters, I think a lot of people in the middle don't like that. And just one last point. He's going so hard on Donald Trump. I think it really brings to light what's happened with regard to Mar-a-Lago. This was a political attack. The raid at Mar-a-Lago was a political attack because Joe Biden sees Donald Trump and his supporters a threat to his power, and using the FBI and the DOJ to go after Mar-a-Lago is all about politics, not about documents.
What do you think about this strategy, Jessica? Like, they must have done some sort of focus grouping that said this is going to work for them, and they don't think that they have to win all the independents. They just have to win a certain number to hold on by their fingernails. Is that the idea?
I think we'd like more than just our fingernails. But yeah, I mean, everyone's just trying to win whatever coalition is going to work for them. We're so polarized. We're not going to have overwhelming majorities. People are partisans generally, and even independents when you look at it. But 40% of Americans identify as independent, but nearly 100% of them lean one way or the other. And especially with an issue like abortion on the ballot, and it'll be on the ballot like in Kansas and places like Michigan now. But everyone knows what it means if we get another conservative Supreme Court justice versus, we could get a liberal one. People have their corners. In terms of the strategy, though, I thought it was interesting. Reuters has a new poll out that says 58% of Americans think that the Make America Great Again movement is threatening our democratic foundations, and that includes 25% of Republicans. So if you look at the numbers of Republicans that Joe Biden needs to pick off, 25% would be just fine. You can win like that with all of your Democrats and with independents, the left-leaning ones, and a lot of the right-leaning ones who do not see the world like you do, Sean, who don't think that it's not polling. Is that a real Sean? Be a serious person here. Don't just say if you don't like something, it is not fake news. Polls are real. I've done polling in my life,
and some of the polls actually post Labor Day, Judge. We sort of started the week with thinking, wow, Biden's got some wind at his back. And then now the polls are starting to come out post-Labor Day. And you see somebody like Herschel Walker in Georgia moving up.
Right.
Brian Kemp moving up. And you're seeing a little bit more of this tightening, as we all suggested post-Labor Day you would see.
Right. It is tightening. There's no question about it. But, one of the things that concerns me about this MAGA, some of the MAGAs are not everybody's a bad MAGA. First of all, name me one MAGA other than Donald Trump. Okay, give me the name of someone
Doug Mastriano.
No, I'm not asking you. I'm asking the president. Who is he identifying as the others that we should all hate because they're going to destroy democracy? I mean, we can't ignore what's really in front of us, and that is that there's a president who is trying to get us to hate the others. And that is not American. This is a president who promised to unify all of us. And he's done just the opposite. He's dividing us. He's not defining it. He's not saying who he's talking about. I can work with some. I can't work with others because the pushback was so great. You're calling everyone who's a Republican a dirtbag? Is that what it's coming down to?
No,
wait a minute. The truth is that it's the Democrats who are offering the giveaways. They're offering the handouts and the government aid, and they want to give the phones and everything else. The Republicans are saying, we stand for some kind of, a financial conservative focus as opposed to paying off student loans and on and on. I mean, the thing that bothers me is not so much is it getting close or isn't getting close. Who is he talking about, and why is he dividing America? He should lose because of that.
One of the things that the president said today was that anyone who had talked about cutting entitlements would be a MAGA Republican.
Yeah.
That's been a policy for Republicans for a long time. In a sustainable way that nobody gets their Social Security cut.
So the reason why that poll is showing this is showing that fear is effective, right? And that's what this is about. They're creating fear of this kind of like phantom MAGA terror group. The Republicans can't let this succeed because this, again, is another example of Joe's pretend moderation, right? And this isn't America's fault. Joe's really good at playing middle of the road, and the media happily promotes the ruse. It's pure bait and switch. It happened before and after with the election. It's like being told you're going to swim against a biological female, and it turns out it's Leah Thomas. He's the Leah Thomas of presidents. Now he claims that he's the law and order guy. And why? Because he condemns January 6th. That's what they're working from. So far, it's kind of worked. But there's a problem with this, you old coot. All of us condemned January 6th. We also condemned the riots, the year and a half of riots, the explosion in crime. We condemn that every day. The daily degradations we see on their streets, we condemn that constantly. You never have condemned those things. You hid during a lot of this stuff. So if you're a law and order guy, then so is Jussie Smollett. And that's what the Republicans have to come back with.
With some tough language of their own.
Exactamundo, little lady.
Okay, coming up, sanctuary city mayors not offering sanctuary to the migrants being bused to their towns. We'll tell you all about it.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.